Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
We're talking about the God who wept. It's a hard thing for us to understand the idea of a God who could shed tears. But at the very heart of that concept is the idea that Jesus is God and Jesus became flesh. John 1 and verse 1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Verse number 14 of John 1 says, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth." Jesus shed tears for numerous reasons. We saw yesterday in Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 7 that He cried out to God to save Him. We also see one of the better known occasions when He cried in John chapter 11. His friend Lazarus has died. Now Jesus knows what He's going to do. Jesus knows that He's going to resurrect Lazarus. He knows that Lazarus will live again. But yet the shortest verse in the English Bible is John chapter 11 and verse number 35. Jesus wept. I'll come back to that in just a moment. I want us to think about Romans chapter 12 and verse number 15, which says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep." Now, isn't that interesting? What it's saying is that we need to have a level of empathy for individuals. Not necessarily always to agree with them, but to understand where they're coming from. And certainly there are times that we need to empathize with individuals and put ourselves in their situation. And Jesus certainly had that ability, has that ability with us because He was a man. And as He stood there at the grave, I want you to listen to what verse number 33 says. "Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, He groaned in the spirit and was troubled." And then we read in verse number 35, Jesus wept. You know, I've attended funerals of people I don't even know because I went with somebody else and I was trying to show some compassion for a family. And when I see them weeping, it does something to me. And Jesus was able to understand. He knew He was going to resurrect Lazarus, but He understood the pain that they were suffering. Isn't it good to know that Jesus understands your life and what you're going through? Join us again tomorrow.